Namaste and a warm welcome to Lahari's classes. As you have seen in the thumbnail, as part of our ultra quick revision series on Indian polity, today we are starting one of the most important and frequently asked topics for SSC CGL Mains and Prelims, the Indian constitutional articles. So this is going to be a two-part video where I'll be discussing all the articles of Indian Constitution which are frequently asked directly in exams, where you will be given an article number and you must identify what it relates to. So this is part 1, covering articles 1 to 237 which are explained in a simple, clear and exam focused way. So we'll go article by article, highlighting key points and helping you connect each article with its keyword so you can remember them easily without rote learning. So without any further delay, let's begin our quick and powerful revision of the Indian Constitution articles. As we all know that there are 25 parts after the amendments to the Constitution. So we will go by part, in which we will cover all the articles in that particular parts. So let's begin. Part 1, that is the Union and its territory. Article 1 defines the name and territory of the Union. Article 2, admission or establishment of new states. Article 3, formation of new states, alteration of areas, boundaries or names of existing states. So Article 2 is for new states, Article 3 is for existing states, and Article 4 says laws under Articles 2 and 3 to amend 1st and 4th schedules. Part 2, that is citizenship. Article 5, citizenship at the commencement of the Constitution. Article 6, rights of citizenship of persons migrating from Pakistan. Article 7, rights of citizenship of persons migrating to Pakistan. This is from Pakistan, and Article 7 is to Pakistan. Article 8, citizenship of persons of Indian origin living in abroad. Article 9, persons acquiring foreign citizenship cease to be citizens of India. Article 10, continuance of rights of citizenship. Article 11, Parliament empowered to regulate citizenship by law. Only Parliament is empowered to regulate the citizenship in India. Next, part 3, fundamental rights. Very, very important for SSC CGL and other related exams. Most of the questions, that is PYQs, were on fundamental rights. So this is the quick revision. Article 12 defines the state. Article 13, laws inconsistent with fundamental rights void. Article 14, equality before law. Article 15, prohibition of discrimination. Article 16, equality of opportunity in public employment. Article 17, abolition of untouchability. Article 18, abolition of titles. Article 19, 6 freedoms guaranteed to citizens. Article 20, protection in respect. So in Article 19 we have 6 freedoms guaranteed to citizens. They are freedom of speech and expression. Next is freedom to assemble peacefully and without arms. The next one is freedom to form associations or unions or cooperative societies. So this cooperative societies was added by 97th Amendment Act 2011. And fourth one is freedom to move freely throughout the territory of India. Fifth one is freedom to reside and settle in any part of India. And sixth one is freedom to practice any profession or to carry any occupation, trade or business. All of these 6 are under Article 19 with some restrictions, that is public order, decency, morality and security of the state, friendly relations with foreign states and contempt of court. Next, Article 20, protection in respect of conviction for offences. Article 21, protection of life and personal liberty. Article 21A, right to education. Article 22, protection of rights in certain cases. Article 23, prohibition of traffic in human beings and forced labour. Article 24, prohibition of child labour. Article 25, freedom of conscience and religion. Article 26, freedom to manage religious affairs. Article 27, freedom from taxation for religious promotion. Article 28, freedom from attending religious instruction. Article 29, protection of interests of minorities. Article 30, rights of minorities to establish and manage educational institution. Article 31, it was repealed. that is the right to property, was repealed and now added to Article 300A, which makes it constitutional right, previously from fundamental right. So Article 31A, 31B and 31C and 31D were inserted later. You can see A, B, C, D denotes that these articles were inserted after some amendments. So Article 31A, saving of laws providing for acquisition of estates, etc. Article 31B, validation of certain acts and regulations, that is in the 9th schedule. Article 31C, saving of laws giving effect to certain directive principles. 31D, declared unconstitutional and it was repealed later. Article 32, right to constitutional remedies, in which we have mandamus, quo warranto, certiorari. And Article 33, Parliament may modify rights for armed forces. Article 34, restrictions while martial law is in force. Article 35, legislation to give effect to fundamental rights. Next, part 4, directive principles of state policy. This is also very, very important part. All articles under this part 4 are really important for CGL exam. So Article 36 defines the state similar to Article 12. Same definition of state here. Article 37, application of directive principles. 38, promotion of welfare of people and social order. 39, principles of policy, adequate livelihood, equal pay, etc. 39A, equal justice and free legal aid to the poor. 40, organization of village panchayats as envisioned by Mahatma Gandhi ji. 41, right to work, education and public assistance. 42, humane working conditions and maternity relief. 43, living wage for workers. 43A, workers' participation in management. Article 44, Uniform Civil Code for Citizens. 45, Early Childhood Care and Education. 46, Promotion of Interests of SCs, STs and weaker sections. 47, Duty of the State to raise nutrition and health. 48, Organization of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry. 48A, Protection of Environment and Forests. 49, Protection of Monuments and Places of Importance. 50, Separation of Judiciary from Executive. 51, Promotion of International Peace and Security. Next one is part 4A, fundamental duties. As you can see, there is a capital letter. That means this part was added by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act in 1976. So there are certain fundamental duties under this 51A. So Article 51A is under part 4A. Okay, so the duties are to abide by the Constitution and to respect its ideals, institutions, the national flag and the national anthem. Remember, in fundamental duty, the first one talks about national flag and national anthem. Flag and anthem. Okay, next B talks about to cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. C talks about to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. D talks about to defend the country and render national service when called upon to do so. E talks about a promotion of harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people in India, transcending religious, linguistic, regional and or sectional diversities, to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. Next, to value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. G, to protect and improve the natural environment, including forests, lakes, rivers and wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. H, to develop the scientific temper, humanism and the spirit of inquiry and reform. I, to safeguard public property and to abjure violence. J, to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. K, it was added by 86th Amendment Act 2002, that is to provide opportunities for education to his or her child or ward between the age of 6 and 14 years. So this is between 6 and 14 years. Next, part 5, the union. It consists of the executive, the parliament and the CAG. So first we will discuss about the union, the union under which the executive. So these are the articles under the executive. So article 52 talks about the President of India. 53, his executive power of the union. 54, election of president. 55, the manner in which the president is to be elected. 56, the term of office of president. 57, eligibility for re-election. 58, qualifications for election. 59, conditions of president's office. 60, oath or affirmation by president. 61, impeachment procedure for president. 62, the time for election to fill vacancy. 63, the Vice President of India. 64, Vice President as ex officio Chairman of Rajya Sabha. 65, Vice President to act as President. 66, election of Vice President. 67, term of Vice President. 68, time of election for Vice President. 69, oath by Vice President. 70, discharge of President's functions in other contingencies. 71, matters relating to the presidential or vice presidential election. 72, pardoning powers of the President. 73, extent of executive power of the Union. 74, Council of Ministers to aid and advise the President. 75, other provisions about ministers, the central ministers. Article 76 talks about the Attorney General of India. Article 77, conduct of government business. Article 78, duties of the Prime Minister. Next, under the Union, there is this Parliament. So Article 79 talks about Constitution of Parliament. 80, composition of Rajya Sabha. These two are very important. Under which article the Rajya Sabha has been mentioned is, if they ask like that, you have to answer Article 80. And when it comes to the composition of Lok Sabha, it is Article 81. So 82 talks about readjustment after each census, that is delimitation. Article 83 talks about duration of Parliament. Article 84 talks about qualifications for membership. Article 85, sessions of Parliament and prorogation. 86, right of President to address the Parliament. 87, special address by the President. 88, rights of ministers and Attorney General in Parliament. 89, chairman and deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha, not Lok Sabha. 90, vacation and resignation of deputy chairman. 91, power of deputy chairman in absence of chairman. 92, secretariat of Parliament. 93, speaker and deputy speaker of Lok Sabha. 94, vacation and resignation of speaker or deputy speaker. 95, powers of deputy speaker in absence of speaker. 96, salaries of presiding officers. 97, Secretariat of Parliament. 98, officers and staff of Parliament. 99, oath by members of Parliament. 100, voting in houses, quorum and power to act despite vacancies. 101, vacation of seats. 102, disqualification for membership. 103, decision on questions of disqualification. 104, penalty for sitting and voting before taking oath. 105, powers and privileges of Parliament and members. 106, salaries and allowances of members. 107, introduction and passing of bills. 108, joint sitting of both the houses. This is an important article. Article 108 usually refers to what? That is joint sitting. When there is conflict in deciding whether to act upon that particular bill or not, joint sitting will be constituted. Article 109, special procedure in respect of money bills. Article 110, this is very important one, definition of money bill. Article 110, please remember this, definition of money bill. Article 111, assent to bills. 112, annual financial statement, which is in layman terms it's called as budget. This is also very important article, please remember. Article 113, procedure in Parliament relating to estimates. 114, appropriation bills. 115, supplementary and excess grants. 116, oaths on account, oaths of credit. 117, special provisions as to financial bills. 118, rules of procedure. 119, regulation by law of procedure in Parliament. 120, language to be used in Parliament. 121, restriction on discussion of judges' conduct. 122, courts not to inquire into parliamentary proceedings. This was previously asked in one of the SSC exams. Article 122, please remember this. It says that courts cannot inquire into parliamentary proceedings. Okay, next Article 123, very important one. The power of President to promulgate ordinances. So 123 is very important, please remember. Article 124 is establishment of Supreme Court. This is very important. 125, salaries and allowances of judges. 126, appointment of acting chief justice. 127, appointment of ad hoc judges. 128, attendance of retired judges at sittings. 129, Supreme Court as a court of record. This is also important. So from Article 129 till 134, all the articles related to Supreme Court are very, very important. Please make note of all these. Try to remember. Article 130, seat of the Supreme Court. Article 131, original jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Remember like this, 1 and 1, which says something like original, only, one and only. So accordingly remember original jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Next 132, appellate jurisdiction in constitutional matters. 133, appellate jurisdiction in civil matters. 134, appellate jurisdiction in criminal matters. 134A, certificate for appeal to Supreme Court. All these articles are very, very important. Please remember. Next, Article 135, jurisdiction and powers of federal court transferred. Article 136, this is very important, special leave to appeal by Supreme Court. Special leave to appeal by Supreme Court, Article 136. Next, 137, review of judgments. 138, enlargement of jurisdiction. 139, power to issue writs. 139A, transfer of certain cases to Supreme Court. 140, ancillary powers of Supreme Court. 141, law declared by Supreme Court binding on all courts. This is very important, Article 141. It says the law declared by Supreme Court is binding on all the courts. That is, no court can deny the judgment by Supreme Court. Okay. Article 142, enforcement of decrees and orders of Supreme Court. 143, this is also very important, power of President to consult Supreme Court. Recently our President Srimati Murmu ji consulted Supreme Court regarding many questions. So according to this power, this article, she has raised some questions to Supreme Court. So that is this Article 143. And 144, civil and judicial authorities to act in aid of Supreme Court. Article 145, rules of court, etc. Article 146, officers and servants of Supreme Court. 147, interpretation of constitutional provisions. Next, CAG, that is Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Article 148 talks about the appointment and duties of CAG. 149, it talks about the duties and powers of CAG. 150, it forms of accounts of the union and states. 151 talks about the audit reports by CAG. This CAG is also very important. Please remember all these articles. Next, part 6, the states, from articles 152 to 237. So 152 talks about definition of state for this part. 153, governors of states. 154, executive power of the states. This is important. 153, under which article governors of states are mentioned, means it is Article 153. 154, executive power of the states. 155, appointment of governor. 156, term of office of governor. 156 it is. 157, qualifications for governor. 158, conditions of governor's office. 159, oath or affirmation by governor. 160, discharge of governor's functions in certain contingencies. 161, pardoning powers of the governor. 162, extent of executive power of the state. 163, this is very important article, Council of Ministers to aid and advise the governor. So there will be a council of ministers to aid and advise the governor on various matters. So that comes under Article 163, which is very important. Next, 164, this is also important, other provisions about ministers. So 165, Advocate General of the state. So there will be an Advocate General for the state. 166, Conduct of business of the government of the state. 167, Duties of the Chief Minister. 168, Constitution of State Legislature. 169, Abolition or creation of legislative councils. This is very important. Under which article there is a mention of abolition or creation of legislative councils? That article is 169. 170 is composition of legislative assemblies. 171, composition of legislative councils. 172, duration of state legislatures. 173, qualification for membership. 174, sessions of state legislature prorogation dissolution. 175, right of governor to address the house. Article 176, special address by the governor. 177, rights of ministers and advocate general in legislature. 178, speaker and deputy speaker of assembly. 179, vacation and resignation of speaker or deputy speaker. 180, powers of deputy speaker. 181, speaker not to preside while resolution for removal is under consideration. For his removal is under consideration in the house. 182, chairman and deputy chairman of the legislative council. This is very important. 182. 183 is term of office of chairman or deputy chairman of that legislative council. 184, vacation and resignation of offices. 185, power of deputy chairman. 186, salaries of presiding officers. 187, secretariat of state legislature. 188, oath or affirmation by the members of the houses. 189, voting in houses, quorum, etc. 190, vacation of seats. 191, disqualification for membership. 192, decision on questions as to disqualification. 193, penalty for sitting and voting before taking oath. It is before taking oath. Next, 194, powers and privileges of state legislature and its members. 195, salaries and allowances of members. 196, introduction and passing of bills. 197, restrictions on bills other than money bills. 198, special procedure regarding money bills. 199, definition of money bill in the states. Article 200 is very important, assent of bills by governor. Recently there is a lot of discussion regarding this delay of assent to the bills by the governors, etc. So this is going to be this is an expected question in the upcoming CGL mains or in any other government related exams. Okay, next, article 201, that is governor may reserve a bill for president's consideration. Article 202, annual financial statement of state, that is budget, state budget. Article 202, very important. At the center it is article 112, at the state it is article 202. Article 203 talks about procedure in legislature with respect to estimates. Article 204, appropriation bills. 205 about supplementary, additional or excess grants. 206 on votes on account, votes of credit, exceptional grants. 207 on special provisions as to financial bills. 208 rules of procedure in state legislature. 209 regulation by law of procedure in legislature. 210 language to be used in legislature. 211 restriction on discussion of judges' conduct. 212 courts not to inquire into legislative proceedings. 213 governor's ordinance making power. This is very important. 123 is for president's ordinance making power. Just reverse these two numbers. 213 is for the governor's ordinance making power. Okay, next, 214, this is also very important article, that is high courts for states, such as we have under article 124 we have Supreme Courts at the center for entire India. We have high courts for states under article 214. Next, article 215, high courts to be the courts of record. 216, constitution of high courts. 217, appointment and conditions of office of high court judges. 218, application of certain provisions relating to Supreme Court. 219, oath by High Court judges. 220, restriction on practice after being a judge. 221, salaries and allowances of judges. 222, this is very important article, that is it talks about the transfer of a judge from one High Court to another. So under Article 222, we have this transfer conditions and all. 223 acting chief justice, 224 additional and acting judges, 224A appointment of retired judges to sit in high court, 225 jurisdiction of existing high courts, 226 power of high courts to issue writs. This is very important. That is, the high courts can also issue writs under Article 226. Supreme Court can issue writs under which article? You have to comment in the comment section below. Next, Article 227, power of superintendence over subordinate courts. 228, transfer of certain cases to High Court. 229, officers and servants of High Courts. 230, extension of jurisdiction to Union territories. 231, establishment of a common High Court for 2 or more states. This is also very important. 231 is for establishment of a common High Court for 2 or more states. Such as we have so many union territories have common high courts with states. So that is possible only under this Article 231. So Article 232 was repealed by the 7th Amendment Act 1956. 233 talks about appointment of district judges in the district courts. 234 talks about recruitment of persons other than district judges to the judicial service. 235 talks about control over subordinate courts. 236 talks about interpretation of district judge and judicial service. 237, which is the last article under Part 6 of the Constitution, talks about application of the provisions to certain class of magistrates. So that is it. We have discussed till Part 6. So there is an exercise for you. I will be asking 3 MCQs. You have to comment down the correct answers to all these 3 questions. Okay, so test yourself now. Which article defines India as a union of states? Which article defines India as a union of states? This is very important. Union of states, India, that is Bharat, is mentioned under which article? You have to comment down the answer. Next, which of the articles cannot be suspended even during an emergency? Cannot be suspended even during an emergency. This question I have not discussed in this quick revision, but I suppose you all know this answer really well because this question has been asked multiple times in the SSC related exams. So you have to comment down the answer. Next, which article guarantees the right to equality before law? This is a very easy question. You can easily answer that. So that is it for today's session. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Please subscribe to Lahari's classes. The second part also will be very important and very useful for your quick revision to CGL Mains, which is going to be conducted in the January 2026. So for more updates, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching till the end. God bless you all. Jai Hind.